I see you over there. Your podcast feels like a monologue, like you are just talking to yourself and you are lonelier than ever. I want to talk to you about why what you're doing is not converting, not building community, not getting you conversations that actually are what's going to move your business forward and make your life more joyful. The best podcasts aren't just content and content and content and content. Spray and pray, clips, all that crap. That's not what the best podcasts are. They're conversation starters. And if no one else is talking back, you've got a content machine and a content monster that you are feeding without a community, without collaborations, and without building the business that you truly desire. So we've got to fix that. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Beyond the Downloads, the show that dives deeper than stats and charts to reveal the real impact of your podcast. I'm Jennifer Dragonette, founder of the Bold Action Collective, where we believe that bold moves truly spark transformation. Each week, we explore how your unique story, passion, and purpose can create powerful connections that will change lives, yours and those of your listeners. If you're ready to go beyond the metrics, embrace bold action, and unleash the life raft potential of your podcast, you're in the right space. Let's go. When people say podcasting is slow to grow, what they really mean is that they're not building real relationships with their listeners. Because here's the thing, if you're only tracking download, you're missing the most powerful metric: connection. You don't need a huge audience. You just need a really connected one. You don't need to build connection by pushing more content and more content and more content. And I see this all the time. I see this with social media managers. I see this with my clients, like seeking those numbers, seeking going viral, all these things. I'm like, but does that virality bring you what you desire? More income, a bigger impact, or maybe a friend or collaboration or a community? Likely not. So if you're building it by creating and trying to get people to engage and pushing and pushing and pushing, you are doing it wrong. You've got to create the space for people to actually engage, to see themselves in your content, to see themselves in your episode, to be like, oh my God, is she talking to me? Oh my goodness, I can totally relate. Those are the magical words we want to hear. And then they want to take that next bold step with you when you give them an aligned offer to move through it with you. This is why I'm obsessed with the feedback loop. When someone reaches out and says, I feel like you were in my head with that episode. I feel like that's me. Oh my goodness, I thought I was the only person that went through that. Oh my goodness, I feel so seen. I feel like this. I feel like that. I love these. When you get that feedback loop where your content hits and someone's like, I got to talk to them. I got to tell them that it is connected. That's not just content. That's building community, and that's an actual conversation with a human. I would rather have 30 of those than 3 million views on a reel. Because you know what's going to happen is those 30 people are more likely to be my friends, my collaborators, my referral network, or my client. And that's what most podcasters are getting wrong. You're focused on what you want instead of what your audience actually needs. Again, let me say that again. You're focusing on what you want, not what your audience needs to hear. And this is hard because a lot of us are teaching or serving from a place that's many, many steps ahead. And it's hard to look back 5, 10, 15 steps. That's why some people grow their offers when they grow, because you gotta be pivoting so that you're not leaving people behind. You want to make that connection. That's why storytelling is so important. That's why I wrote the book, Your Story is Someone's Life Raft, because your story connects. You're in your head. I just had this happen. The lady that I run into all the time, our dogs play together, found out I was an author, and I gave her a copy of my book. And what happened is on our next walk, she's like, I feel so seen. I feel like you were in my head. I feel like this. I feel like this. I see a clear path forward. I've been stuck in this loop. Your book gave me an idea for this. And she's excited and she's writing her own book now and she's sharing her story in cool ways. which is really cool because she's wanted to do it for so long, but it took seeing someone else take the step, seeing it and reading it in language that she understood. That's where a lot of us are getting it wrong. If you take it the next step past that, is where does it go from there? Great, you've created content that connects. Now people are reaching out and saying, oh my goodness, it felt like you were in my head. Oh my goodness, this was what I needed. Are you inviting people to the next step? A lot of podcasts that I listen to, I love them, but I have no idea how to connect with them. Yeah, I know I can go to their social media and maybe pop in their DMs, but they don't invite me in. How do you invite people in? There's so many different ways. You can invite them in as a guest. You can invite them to maybe a monthly podcast community call. Maybe it's a in-person something. I don't know. I keep toying with the idea of doing a Beyond the Downloads like live event where we just all get together and hang out and people go and talk about their expertise. And it's kind of like not necessarily a free for all, but where everybody gets a spotlight, where it's not like traditional marketing, like we're playing too, like we're making friends. Sharing our expertise and doing all the things. But we forget to loop people back in. You can really build a community around the show if you connect back in. I do free hot seat coaching calls. I do free mastermind calls. There's a whole bunch of ways that I build community around this show. Some of them is just a single one-on-one, a community of when I call my community, I could reach out one-on-one to all these different people. I have a referral network that came from my community. We have to start looking at people as people, not just numbers. Because when you think about it, you want those referral networks. You want those raving fans. You want those friendships. Entrepreneurship is lonely as hell. Loneliness is an epidemic. One of my clients keeps telling me it's like smoking 10 cigarettes a day if you're lonely. So we need to start thinking about this. And just because you have guests on your show doesn't mean that it's taking away from your spotlight. You really can have an aligned partnership with these guests if you build it correctly. We're not just creating content. And I did this. I'm sad to say I did this. My first show, it was back-to-back interviews, interview. I didn't follow up with most of them. But guess what? Most of them didn't follow up with me either. So it was a two-sided fail. You've always got to be inviting people back in, whether that's guesting, whether that's on your show. Like, I love doing my free audits. You want a free audit? Go to podcastcpr.com. Get 30 minutes with me looking at your business, your podcast, your offers, and making sure that it all is aligned and giving you one little tweak you can make to move forward. Because I love talking to people. And that's one of my gifts. You tell me all the things and I'm like, oh, here's your first step forward. It's one of my magical gifts, and I hear it from people all the time. But that's also how I've built a community. And then I get to know you, and here's what happens. I get to know you and your business. So the next time that, Sally comes in and is like, I need somebody who specializes in hormone health, and maybe you took a podcast audit from me, you're in my community. So guess who I'm going to refer Sally to? You. It is so amazing what you can do when you actually have these conversations, when you invite people in. We've gone to this automation overload. And this is one of the things that drives me crazy is it's like, I know that when I'm emailing people, I'm getting an automated response. It doesn't even make sense. Pitches have become automated and templates. Everything's become so automated. Where's the human connection? So if you give your podcast listener, even if it's a solo show, how can they connect with you? Not with your AI bot, not with your ManyChat. How can they actually connect with you? Because that's the part that's missing. You're spraying content hoping to be passive where you can just step back and everybody buys your stuff. Great. It kind of works for some people. But right now, people are craving connections. People are wanting to build out actual friendships and communities. And a podcast is a great way to build a community of your own. Whether that's just one-on-one where you know all the different people, or maybe you're gathering people. I know that one of my friends does a weekly coffee chat, and everybody just gets together and just kind of chats about their wins or their struggles or whatever, and everybody gets a little piece. I do the hot seat coaching, the free hot seat coachings. I also do hot seats inside of my paid programs because I think it's so important to have that deeper connection. Your podcast is a way to go deep with your people. So don't let it just be that spray and pray. I'm going to record a podcast as fast as possible, and then I'm just going to do the bare minimum for clips and share it. I'd rather have you spend so much more effort on like inviting someone in and having that a 30-minute call with somebody or a 20-minute call with somebody than I would you spending that much time creating social media content that's not going to convert. So that being said, here's your 10-minute bold action step of the week. Are you ready? I want you to just choose one of these ways to start building community around your podcast. I want you to start this today. 1, I want you to add a clear listener call to action, CTA, to your episode that invites people to either DM you, join you on a free call, or join your free community. Number 2, you could go to your analytics and find your most downloaded episode. Then go over to your favorite social media platform or in your email list and ask them why that resonated. This is very helpful because you're getting that feedback. You're opening that conversation again. And if you're going onto one of the social platforms or to your email list and you're like, hey, this was my most downloaded episode. How did this resonate? You're opening up that two-way conversation. Again, remember, we're talking to people, building it to set it and forget it in a way, but we're not going to forget that it's people. Or number 3, I want you to start your next episode by saying a listener's name and sharing their takeaway, somebody that's shared with you. Maybe it's sharing a review, because that's the cool thing. But go in, share a review from your show, shout out that person's name, and make them feel seen. Because when your listeners feel seen, heard, and can connect with your content, they stick around. They share your show with the people they love. And then when you have an offer, they buy or they refer. That's the magic. Let's do this. My last 2 reviews on the Beyond the Download show. Here's my bonus thing. If you have a podcast and you leave me a review, put your podcast name in there, and then I can shout out your podcast. Great way to build visibility without having to be a guest. You still get a shout out. So this is from Chanel Lee B. Jen is the best. So excited to have found Jen and to be able to tap into her knowledge. She truly enjoys sharing and helping her clients just for the sake of helping. Her podcasts are super informational and enjoyable to listen to. Highly recommend, especially for anyone trying to start a podcast. She's your girl. Love that. This was fun. Let's do one more. We're going to go with, this one is Lisa Leanne. Launching with ease and excitement. Jennifer's experience and enthusiasm has helped me so much to dive into podcasting with ease. She shares so much knowledge in digestible bits. She offers incredible step-by-step trainings. I can't thank you enough. I am thrilled to be launching soon. Tsunami. I am so excited. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Chanel. If I say your name wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know what your podcasts are, but I love you and I thank you. So that's part of your 10-minute action step. If you have a review, maybe you have somebody who left you a review somewhere, past client, that's part of your 10 minutes. So you have those 3 choices. 1, give listeners a clear CTA on your next, which CTA, call to action. I always got to remember, I've got to say it out just because we don't always know where we're at in the journey to connect with you some way. DM, email, join a free community. Or go to your analytics, find your most downloaded episode, and then ask your community, whether that's on social media or in your email, why that resonated and try to open those two-way conversations. Number 3, start your next episode by sharing a listener's name and sharing their takeaway. Make that specific person feel seen and make other people want to go leave you a 5-star rating and review over on Apple because you may be the next one that gets read. Oh, now here's the truth that people don't tell you. You can't just build community if no one's finding your show, right? That's why we're running the SEO Foundation Sprint in December. It's a 4-week, I gave you a bonus week because it's the holiday experience that'll clean up your show title, your episode strategy, and your content ecosystem so that your podcast works with you, even when you're sleeping. You'll stop guessing and start being found by the exact people you want to serve. So get inside. The link is in the show notes to join that December sprint because you're not meant to do this alone. SEO doesn't have to be hard. These foundations don't have to be hard, but you have to have the foundation set up if you want to build a community around your show, because if people can't find you, you can't build a community. So let's do this. So next week, we're going to dive into the most powerful tool you already have. We're going to talk about how storytelling can transform your podcast, your sales, and connect deep with your listeners, again, to grow your community, to grow your network, to grow your referral network, and to build your business. This is going to be an emotional, practical, and game-changing one, so don't miss it. I'll see you next week. Go out and make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are worthy, and your story deserves a microphone.